Welcome to Moodle at Ricochae. We're going to look at Moodle admin hint number 9, check security report. Moodle has a security report that is extremely useful, and we're going to have a quick look through that security report and look at what it tells us and what we could do to improve any security issues with Moodle. Let's log into Moodle as an administrator, select Site Administration, Reports, and scroll down to Security Overview. The security overview can be fairly technical, so I'll try and just go through the main parts of the security overview that will make the most sense to you. So, insecure data root. This is the area that data is stored when somebody saves a document or uploads some information or anything to do with uploading, saving, storing information in Moodle. What this is doing is checking to make sure it has the right security permissions on the server, and in this case it does, so that's fantastic. We can move on. Display of PHP errors. This is a warning on this particular server. The PHP settings are enabled to show PHP error warnings. This again is because I'm on a development server, so it shows you this particular warning. On production servers, you probably don't want to have that on there, and this is to do with the config file. So you can go back, if you're an administrator or you have a server manager, get them to go back and turn off display PHP errors in the server settings or in the config. Vendor directory. The vendor directory should not be present on public sites. The vendor directory is to do with development, and this is only if you're using a development version of Moodle and you're having to compile any of the components inside Moodle. So generally you shouldn't have a vendor directory. The same as the Node.js modules directory, you shouldn't need this as well. So if it does say that there's an issue, then you need to do something about having your version of Moodle change from a development version to a production version. No authentication plugin is disabled. You do want, usually, most people to authenticate, or everybody to authenticate before they access Moodle. So this is a security flag just to make sure that you don't have open access to your content. Make sure it says OK, and you'll be quite happy with that. Allow embed and object. Unlimited object and embedding is not allowed. That is OK. Embedding objects inside content in Moodle can be an issue, can be a security issue. So there's a restriction on embedding, on using the embed and the object tag inside your content. This one here is critical. Flash media filter is enabled. You may or may not remember Flash with all the interactive activities that you could do with Flash. Well, Flash has now been deemed a major security issue. So let's go to the Enable STO Media Filter, and we're going to manage media players. And you will see that the Flash animation video SWF is currently enabled. We're going to disable that by choosing the little icon just here. Let's go back to our report and reload the page, and our Flash media filter is no longer enabled. So that's fixed that issue for us. Login is required before viewing users' profiles is OK, so we don't want anyone to be able to view other people's profiles unless they're logged in. Search engine access is not enabled. By default, we don't want Google accessing the whole site and indexing everything. The password policy is enabled, which is OK. Email change confirmation. Confirmation of change of email address and user profile is on. We do want that. Writable config PHP. At the moment, the permissions set on the config file allow it to be modified by scripts. That's not what you want. So talk to your server manager and get them to fix the config.php file permission. They'll need to do that on the server. Okay, cross-site scripting, XSS Trusted Users. What this means is there's two users that have access to things like adding JavaScript into pages and doing all sorts of other things that can be classed as a security risk, but the way Moodle deals with it is that there are some people who need to be able to do those tasks. In my case, I do have two users that are set up to do that, and that is okay, but I would go through and check who those users are to make sure that they are users that you do trust on this server, to have access to those extra scripts. Administrators, we've found one server administrator, that's fine. It's worth checking, there's another area we'll look at soon about how many administrators you do have and who they are. Sometimes you can end up with a lot of administrators and that can be an issue. Backup of user data, found one role overrides and 2 users with the ability to back up user data. That is okay, as long as you check them and make sure they are users that should be able to back up user data. Default role for all users, we do have one, we need to have one, so that's green, that's good. There is a guest role and it's all okay. There's a front page role, that's okay. Anonymous users cannot access the cron. If you've followed any articles before, you'll know a little bit about the cron. Cron runs tasks in the background for Moodle, and we don't have anonymous user access, so only people that are supposed to be able to run cron can run it. And the last one is executable paths. Executable paths can be set in the admin GUI, graphical user interface. If you prefer, you can ask your admin to change some settings or to put a config option that disables anyone from modifying the executable paths, and that is very advisable on your server. Not essential, but it is advisable for security so that nobody can change executable paths from an admin role. Remembering too that if you do trust your admins completely, it shouldn't be an issue, but for extra security, you can have a look at the details about it and find out a little bit more about what executable paths mean and whether you need to disable that in the config. In version 3.6, that's all the items in the security overview. It is worth going through them. If you're not an admin, send this to your admin and give them a look at it and say, check this out and make sure that we are doing our best to cover as many of the security items as we can, so that nearly all of them should be green, or preferably all of them should be green. My name is Chris Richter. This has been Moodle at Ricochet, and I will talk to you very soon again. Thank you. If you would like to know about some more of the top 10 admin tasks that a Moodle administrator should know about, click on the link below this video. I'll take you through how to clear a cache, how to run cron, how to set tasks, turning on debugging, reading log files, edit the config, run automated backups, check performance overview, check security reports, and how to use the ad hoc database queries. I hope this has been helpful. Please feel free to check out more videos on how to make the most out of the Moodle learning management system.